day of your wedding one of the most special days of your life? Well, I'm not married yet, but I want my big day to be very special and memorable. My name is Annie Wilson, and I'm going to introduce you to some of the traditions that you may not have heard of before from other countries. First of all, what are the things that make a wedding memorable? Is it the ceremony where two people are pledging their love for each other? Or maybe the reception with lots of yummy food and great music? Well, I believe that it's the traditions that make a wedding memorable, because each person puts their own special twist into each tradition. But have you ever wondered whether the rest of the world shares our same traditions? Well, the answer is definitely not. Each country has their own way of doing things, and I found a lot of them very unique. So the first tradition I want to concentrate on is the bridal attire. Here in America, most of the time, brides wear a white dress, a big beautiful white dress with their hair and makeup done and some kind of veil on. Well, that's not the way in Armenia. An Armenian bride wears a red silk gown, very beautiful, much like this one. They also wear a headpiece that's made out of cardboard, and it has feathers all over it. Well, it's not really my cup of tea because I don't want to look like I have a bird on my head. But it's their way of doing things, and their brides are considered very beautiful for this. Now, I know all of us have seen the Japanese bride. It's white, pretty much all white with the black hair, you know. Well, the bride is actually painted white from head to toe. This visibly symbolizes the maiden status to the gods. They are also wearing a white kimono with a very elaborate headpiece with lots of ornate jewels and stuff like that on it. This symbolizes good luck. Well, there's also a twist to this. The kimono has a white hood that is on the back of the dress. So the reason for this is because they want to hide the horns of jealousy, because after the wedding has taken place, the mother of the groom is actually the one who becomes head of the family. So she is hiding her horns of jealousy from everyone else. I thought that was very interesting. Well, in Welsh tradition, a Welsh bride also wears a white gown, much like we do, but they have a very elaborate pin that she wears on her dress. Once the ceremony has taken place, she actually takes this pin, which can cost lots of money, and just tosses it over her shoulder. But this is a sign of good luck. So I thought that was pretty interesting, you know, because we'll wear it, but we don't ever know what it means. That's where it came from. So now that we've kind of gone through some of the bridal attire, let's now focus on gifts, because everybody loves gifts. Well, in America, a lot of times the bride and groom will give a gift to each other. Most of the time it's done before the ceremony. Well, since the bride and groom aren't supposed to see each other before the ceremony, it is sent by the best man or maid of honor to each other. You know, real sweet and stuff. Well, it's not the same fashion in other countries. In Chinese culture, when a couple gets engaged, the groom's family shows up at the bride's family's house with a gift of a whole roast pig. Could you imagine your future in-laws coming up the front porch with a big old pig in their arms? I know I can't. Well, also in Puerto Rico, they have the groom gives the bride a present. It is a plate of coins, which the bride keeps as a present of good luck and prosperity, and that goes through their whole life. They are also, in Puerto Rico, there's a bride doll. This is where there's a little doll that's dressed in the exact same fashion as the bride, but it has little charms all over it. As the guests are leaving the reception, it is the custom to give the gift of one of the charms to each guest leaving. Once this is done, they also send home a copious, which is a card that has the name of the newlywed couple and the date of the marriage. This card is normally kept by family forever. This is something that is very special to family and friends, that it's not something they just throw away after they leave. Okay, so now that we kind of have the wedding and reception taken care of, what happens after that? Here, normally, the couple goes on their honeymoon, and they'll come back to their shared house. Once they come back to their new house, the groom is supposed to carry the bride over the threshold. Well, this sounds pretty simple and pretty romantic, if you ask me. Well, that's not exactly practiced everywhere. In Morocco, a newlywed bride has to come home to her house, and before she can technically become the mistress of her new house, she has to walk around it 3 times in her attire. Well, I hope it's not too big of a house, because that would be pretty hot. So, but they also have something similar to that in Croatia. In Croatia, after the ceremony and reception are done, everyone, the guests, the family, everyone goes outside and circles around a well outside of the church 3 times to symbolize the Holy Trinity. They will then throw an apple into the well to wish fertility for the new couple. Very unique. I mean, there's probably a lot of apples floating around that well. So, you know, this one thing I've always thought about is when you're at a reception, you want to see the bride and groom. Well, not everybody gets a chance to, because there's so many people. So that's why a lot of times they'll set up a receiving line, so everybody can come past and say their hellos and everything else. Well, in Venezuela, you don't say goodbye to the happy couple. Once they are there, they do all their cake cutting, everything else, and then they don't say goodbye to anyone. It's tradition for them to sneak out and not say anything, and it wishes them good luck just by sneaking out of the reception. So I have definitely, I hope that you have enjoyed this. There are very many unique traditions, anywhere from wearing wings on your head to having a pig come up into your house. So I really hope that next time you go to a wedding, keep in mind some of the traditions that we have here, and see what kind of different things people do, and see what kind of traditions are starting to come over from other countries, and also what new traditions we're making. Thank you.